Hey guys, welcome back to the Epic Success Podcast. And today we're going to be diving into how to truly live a limitless life. And are you really living up to the full potential, your full God-given potential in your business, in your income, in your health, in your relationships? How close are you to really getting to that full potential? Or do you have something that's untapped, right? I really want to speak to you today about this idea that I see so many of us struggling with. And that's that idea that we're wanting success, we want more, we're really feeling called to it, we desire it, it keeps us up at night, right? You're not a victim. You're not the person that's like thinking everything is going wrong and, oh, poor you. You're struggling, like you're trying to do it. You're really working hard. You're hustling. You're doing all that stuff, but you feel like you keep hitting that entrepreneur glass ceiling, right? You keep feeling like I can't quite get there. And you know there's more. So if that's you, we're going to talk about that today because it's this idea that we're doing it by brute force, right? That we're hustling and we're trying hard to push our success into existence, to push our health into existence, to push our relationships into existence. And when we're trying to work at it that way, we're feeling limited. We're feeling like we can't get there. And if we're in reality, and especially I'm going to talk to your moms right now that are trying to grow a business and trying to do all the things, we are sacrificing things that are super important in our lives for the idea that once I arrive at X figure, or once I get this promotion, or once I get to this place in my business, then I will have hit this definition of success. And then I can show up for these things with my kids. Then I can have these moments. But the urgency becomes those moments are slipping away. And if you're like me or a lot of the entrepreneurs I talk to that are in this boat, you don't, when you're in your business and you're trying to grow that, you feel like you should be with your kids. And when you're with your kids, you think about all the things going on at work that you would like to do, right? And so maybe you're at the soccer game and you're on your phone and you're trying to get ahead, right? While you're there present with your son or daughter, and you have your son run off the field and say, mommy, did you see my goal? And you can't say yes because you were looking down at your phone. Oh, and it's these moments, there's so much urgency to leaning in to untapped potential, to truly starting to craft and create a success blueprint. And the good news is you actually have access to that. And we talk about that a lot here on the Epic Success Podcast, how that your brain wires and fires success, and the difference between those who are living limitless life, limitless income, limitless business growth, limitless health, limitless relationship satisfaction, limitless time, limitless energy, and those who feel limited or capped, like there's not enough time, you never have enough energy, you're not ever where you want to be financially, and the business isn't growing the way that you want it to. And if you've ever been in that situation, I've got great news for you today. This untapped potential that you have, there is a systematic, strategic success system operating in your mind that you might not have connected with yet. And so what I'd like to do on this video today is I want to slow you down a minute. I want to be the speed bump for you today. I want to have you start to create what success looks like for you. Because so many people are just running, right? We're just going, we're running, doing all the things. We're, taking care of the kids, the husband, the wife, the friends, the health. We're trying to do all the things, and we're on the treadmill and we're running as fast as we can. And at the end of the day, we feel empty. We feel drained. We feel like there's not enough of us to go around. And that was never the life that you were intended to have. That was never the existence you were intended to have. You were intended to have a life of abundance here and in the next life, right? So God says he comes to give you life to the fullest. And you have an abundant life inside of you and the operating system to tap into it. But if you're like most of us, we weren't taught how to access it, right? We weren't taught. If you think back to truly the indoctrination of this outside in model of success, it's asking for permission. Like if you think back to school, like we even asked for permission to go pee. Like, I'm sorry to say it so like abruptly, but like when you have to go, you had to actually raise your hand and say, may I go? Now I get all the reasons, so teachers don't get all mad at me, but what it did is it taught us that we have to ask for permission, that we need validation from the outside in order to feel successful. If we get the grades that we want, we feel like we've arrived. If we don't, we feel like a failure. Well, no wonder when we hit the goal, we feel great. And when we don't, we feel like a failure because we've been indoctrinated into that. We've been indoctrinated into this outside in model of success that is broken and it doesn't work and it leaves you tired, exhausted, and not hitting your true potential. And you know that you're in it because you're probably in this, what I call the stop, start cycle. And we all fall into this if we're doing this stress success kind of model, this outside in model. And we start something, right? We go all in on this thing. Maybe it's you buy a bunch of courses, you're thinking about starting a podcast, you're getting it going, you start, and then you hit a road bump because again, we're still looking for somebody outside of us to say we have permission, to say we're doing it well enough, to say that you're okay, you're expert enough, you're fill in the blank enough, right? And because if you're growing a business or trying to grow something bigger than you currently have, there's no one there saying you're good, right? So you look for that, you can't find it. And so we hit a speed bump and we stop. And then what do? Well, some of us go into perfectionism when we start working on something for 10 years to put it out. Some of us procrastinate. There's all kinds of brain safety release valves for that. But what we then usually do is, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm going to go look at, maybe I should start this. And we go look for a different strategy or a different tactic. And we stop and we start and we stop and we start. And we're tired because we're never getting anywhere because it's like we're running forward and running backwards and running forward and running backwards. And we're doing things and we're crossing things off our list. But if we're being honest, we're nowhere closer to the life we want to live. We're nowhere closer to the success that will make us feel like we've arrived. And so I want to be that speed bump for you today, but maybe shift things drastically. Hopefully today is the day you can look back and say, because of this video, because of listening today, you started to lean into your true potential and you started first defining what a limitless life looks like, because you've been on the treadmill for so long. You deserve to get off, take a drink of water, throw the towel around your neck and say, no, wait a minute. What does success look like for me? For me, in the domain of family, success for me looked like showing up for both of my kids' events, being available when they had something at school, being available for the football games, being available for, the theater stuff that my daughter's getting into. And when I'm there, what I don't want to do, what is not a definition of success, is working. And truth be told, I love our business and I love working. I love doing what I get to do, right? It lights me up. But my definition of success was being present and being available for those kids, right? So when I start thinking about my schedule and I start thinking about my plan, and I start looking at what success means to me, I have to stay true to a certain cutoff time every single day, right? And it's super attractive to keep going because I know I can get more results if I keep going. At least that's the lie that we've been told, right? Work harder, work longer, and success will then be owed to you. And if you believed that lie too, then you have untapped potential within you, because that lie of work harder, work harder, work harder. If that were true, you would already have all the success that you could possibly want in your life. You'd be living a limitless life. If the lie of work harder and eventually that will earn you success was a truism, then right now you would be living the limitless life. You would have limitless energy, time, money, business growth, relational success, health, all of those things would be firing. But it's not true. And in terms of your mind has to see it to believe it. Your brain was wired in a way that the reason you're missing that secret, that you're going and stopping and starting with different strategies, the reason why you're doing that is because you're trying to get an answer to the wrong question. You're trying to say, what is it that they do that creates the success? And what I want you to start to think about is, what are they thinking about what they want to create? And are they leading with that? And it's different than what you were taught in school. And it's different than what you're taught in a lot of courses, but it is the key to everything. It's like having a Ferrari, right? Ferrari is parked out in front of your house, or whatever your car is, whatever it is for you, an Escalade, a Hummer, a Ferrari, a Tesla, whatever. And it's parked in front of your house and it's brand new and it has your name on the license plate and the keys are on the counter. But because of the history and the past and these systems and automations that are going on, your keys to the moped are sitting right next to it. And because you never have the operating system, the awareness of how your brain wires, you don't recognize the keys to the Ferrari. You pick up the moped keys, put your helmet on, and you go try to work harder. And it doesn't work. And you're going slower because it's a moped, it's not a Ferrari. But your brain, the way you wire it, it is an operating system that you've had the keys to since you were born, but you were never taught to access it. And that's what I love to get to do, is to teach you how to get into the Ferrari that is your mind, define success for yourself, and then start to follow the strategic success system that allows you to unlock and unleash your true potential. So that's what I need you to hear today. I mean, what is it for you in terms of business? I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down when you're at the top of that business ladder and you know what that number is. So write it down. You know what that impact goal is. So write it down. I mean, when you feel like I've done it, like I've hit that pinnacle peak of full potential in my business, do you know what that looks like? Have you even written that down? Right? So start with that. Like, start with a blank piece of paper and write down, what does that I've arrived success in your business look like? What is the dollar amount in your bank account? How many clients are you serving? What kind of impact are you making? Get that so crystal clear in your mind that there's no possibility for interpretation to slow you down. Every single little detail. So as you're writing that down, I want you to imagine like you're there and you're at the top of that ladder and you've created that success, what as it's defined for you, right? So a certain dollar amount, a certain impact goal. And guess what? When you hit that impact goal, yeah, it changes. So this is a habit and a practice and a way to level up from this potential to this potential to this potential and beyond, stuff that you cannot see yet. But what is that for you? And what is that for your health? You know, for me personally, I read a study in one of the journals of one of the scientific journals. Yes, I am a geek in that department. So I read one of those journals of one of my colleagues who's doing some research. And what the research shows is that at age 40, you start losing stamina, energy, and muscle mass at alarming rates. Well, I have a 10 and a 13-year-old. I want to be able to keep up with them. And that just like, that woke me up. That made me like, I want to be able to, in fact, we went water skiing last weekend. I want to be able to do those things with my kids and create those moments, right? Because those moments are what life is made of. To me, that's a successful life, is having these moments with my kids that I'm not too tired for or too busy for or just can't keep up. And so for health, that became super, super important to me, that I prioritize my health and I work out every single day, so that is success for me. Success for me is when my daughter wants me to chase her, I will. When my son wants me to water ski, I can, and I can beat him. And those kind of things, those memories and those moments, right? That's success for me with my health. What is it for you in that area? What is limitless success in the arena of health for you? And we can go down the list. What is it in terms of time and how you're spending your time, right? What is it in terms of energy, your health, your relationships, your environment, right? We're so busy on this treadmill of go, 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 go. And we're not defining and therefore creating for our mind a blueprint that it can access. So what we do is we're untapped potential and we're limited, and we kind of work on reactionary. Again, not your fault. We've all been indoctrinated into it. So we react to the environment. We react to even our desires and dreams. We create results based on what our thinking was from the past, right? We don't stop and slow down and say, I've got to create a blueprint for the success that I really want, that I want to honor God with, that I want to leave a legacy for my family. And there's an urgency here, because the longer you don't do this, the more you put this off and align with the indoctrination of this world that you can have it all, but to have it all, you have to be a raving lunatic and never be present for your family and never be healthy and drink all the time, to just, coffee in the morning and wine at night, right? We need to press pause on that narrative, that toxic narrative, and really pick up the keys to the Ferrari, look at the keys and say, I know I was given an operating system to operate this, and start to learn how. And it begins by creating the success blueprint. You cannot get there, and your brain has to believe it for you to see it. So you cannot get there without stopping long enough and slowing down and saying, what does a limitless life look like? What does it look like when I have stepped into my true God-given full potential, and I am not letting any of my potential in all arenas of my life be less than, be untapped, right? So what is it in terms of finances? What is it in terms of business success, impact, freedom? How do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your time? With who do you want to spend your time, right? Energy. How do you want to feel when you wake up every morning? How do you want to feel throughout the day? Relationships. I don't want, one of my relationships goals is, and yes, we do goals, but it's gotta start from this place of what is the end point, right? So at the end of the day, I don't want a marriage that when my kids graduate, my son's going to be in high school next year, my daughter's going to be in middle school. I think we have 4 more summers left with my son, or 5 maybe, and 8 with my daughter. Like, I've got to make some moments here with them. And I also want my marriage to be one where there's passion and there's support and common goals. And we're not just checking the box and falling into bed at night exhausted, right? That we're on a plan and that we have closeness and intimacy, that requires slowing down to define that and creating for your brain a blueprint that will start to propel. And the blueprint is like the key. It starts the ignition, but there are other steps you got to follow to get the Ferrari on the racetrack and firing to your true potential, right? But today, I really wanted to call you forward to living a limitless life, call you forward to starting the process of defining what success means for you. Not what success means for the internet guru, not what success means for the person that you're looking up to, but really what does the moment that you've arrived, right? You're there. What does that look like in these big genres of life? Time, energy, relationship, environment, money, business success. Have you slowed down long enough to show your mind and your heart and the things that you're doing in your goals, where it is that you're going? You know, I joke around with my tribe a lot about, it's like, we just ended the Olympics, right? It's like the runners in the Olympic gold medals, right? If they came and built a track that had no line separating them and no finish line, and everybody was put in a big group and said, go, right? But there was no definition of what success looked like. There was no lanes to follow. There was no image in terms of when do I arrive. They wouldn't know what to do. Do they run back? Like, it would be chaos. But yet, as people who are building a life that we love, that's what we do. We go on the field and just start running, because that's what we've been taught to do. And your brain and truly your full potential just doesn't align with that kind of broken strategy, the old way of doing things, that hustle, work hard, and maybe you'll earn success someday. And then you sacrifice all the important things along the way for that carrot, that once you get the carrot, realize that you missed all those moments, and the urgency to truly step into that full potential, that limitless life. So you go from no energy to vibrant energy. You go from struggling from launch to launch, or to get that next promotion, to effortless income that just comes naturally to you. You go from having to work out to wanting the life that gives you energy and stamina because you want to be there for your kids. What is that definition for you? And I want to challenge you today to start that process of unpacking for yourself what success looks like. Start to craft your success blueprint so that when you start to do the work of, now, how do I do this? You have a clear map, a clear image, and you can put the key in the Ferrari and start it up. All right. That's what I have for you today. I'm definitely want to chat with you about some cool things coming up. So if you're listening to the podcast right now, in the show notes, we have a Limitless Life live event coming up in October. You're going to want to get on the wait list for that, because we're going to be breaking down that success system bit by bit, step by step. We're going to give you the whole blueprint to that operating system so that you can really step into that limitless life. That's coming up. So make sure that you get on that wait list. If you're hearing this before that wait list is ready, just tag me and I'll make sure you get on it. And until then, I want you to have a very blessed day. Know that you were given peace and an abundant life. And it really is up to you to slow down long enough to create that success blueprint in the areas of life that mean the most to you, so that your tapped potential can be untapped and you can truly live that limitless life. All right, until next time, that's what I have for you. Bye for now.